Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM Attleboro. I'm Justin Ferrer, a.k.a. the Sportsmaster, here with Kathleen Connolly, a.k.a. KC, and Dominic Damiano, and our special guest, returning guest anyway, Arthur Pimenta.
Pimenta,
Okay. First a word from our sponsor. This segment of 4 Deep Sports Talk is made possible by the generous support of Diesel Direct. Diesel Direct, the national fuel resource in 46 states, boosts a fleet of over 900 fuel delivery trucks. 4 Deep Sports Talk would like to congratulate Diesel Direct on its 25th year anniversary. Thank you, Diesel Direct, for your unwavering support, helping us provide a platform for high school and youth athletes in southeastern Massachusetts.
Very good.
Okay, now I'm going over week 5 of football Saturday games for today.
Yep.
Bristol Plymouth versus Dyman happening right now at Bishop Colony. Framingham at Wesley at 1 p.m. in an hour. Atlantis Charter at St. John Paul II at 2. Silver Lake at Marshfield also at 2, and Pembroke at Quincy at 6 p.m.
All right, so if you all want to know like the rest of the schedule for today, Saturday, I posted it on our TikTok page, and that is the word 4.deep.sports.
Very good. All right, so when you're ready, he's ready. He's been in that hot chair before.
Okay. What was the best moment coaching Little League?
The best moment coaching Little League?
or moments, more than one.
Oh, I got a bunch of moments. The one game that I can really think of, my grandson played. And when he was 8 years old, I had asked A.J. Marshall, the president of the league, if I could start the first 8-year-old tournament team. So he said, okay, and back then we had a lot of kids. 45 tried out for that team, and we took 15. But anyways, as we entered them into tournaments, we would run into this team from South Plymouth all the time.
Which way, left or right?
And
Okay.
no matter what tournament we were in, they were there, and they would beat us. We'd give them a game, but they'd beat us. The same thing happened at 9 years old. We entered them in tournaments. South Plymouth would be there, beat us. 10 years old, I entered them in the South Plymouth tournament. And we make the finals, they make the finals. And at the end of 5.5, us being the visitor, we're up by a run. I remember saying to my son-in-law at the time, I said, who's up for them? And he says, 2, 3, 4 batter. Well, the first young man hits a line drive home run that our center fielder jumps up in the air, catches it, out number 1. And 2 great plays by the second baseman, and we win the game. Am I okay yet?
Yep.
Yeah, keep going.
Well, the thing is, the excitement that come out of that dugout when they finally won that game and finally beat that team was unbelievable. I don't know if I could ever give another moment. I'm sure there's been a lot of moments, but that was probably the most game that sticks in my head, to see a group of kids so excited to win a game. A couple of years ago, we played the best team in our regular Little League, and they were really good, and we were in the rebuilding stages, so to speak. And I remember walking down to coach third base, and I said to the other team, they were in third, I says, what's the score? I don't even know the score of the game. He says, well, it's 11-10, you're winning. I says, are you kidding me? And I says, it's getting dark, and I'm all out of pitches. I put this little 9-year-old to pitch, and they faced the top of their order. I think it was a pop-up foul, out 1. Then he walked the batter, and I said, at any moment, I expected them to smash it all over the place. Then it was another foul ball pop up, and then a ground ball out, and we won the game. That group of kids Holy mackerel, I think that might have been our first or second win out of 27 games. And I mean, gee whiz, you would have thought we won the World Series
That's awesome.
of the world. And I could go on. Oh, my goodness, there's so many games, so many times.
All right, so what's our technical issue? What was the
The camera, is the camera moving, I think.
the camera moving? It's
Yeah.
it's gonna go back and forth.
Oh,
All right, we'll let them enjoy the show. You know, all these critics, Arthur. You know,
Hey,
unbelievable.
I'm sitting here and I don't know which camera's even moving.
I actually don't even know. I don't even know like what camera is moving.
It's all off motion. When you open
Yeah,
when you open your mouth, it's good. Okay, there's Norma Pimenta has just given us a thumbs up finally, so we're good. All right, it's official now. All right, so I'm going to read this while you guys get ready to get this question. I want to thank Norma Pimenta. She gave me a lot of great pictures, a lot of great stuff on Arthur's dedication. If you ever meet Arthur, he's probably one of the most simple guys you ever want to meet. He loves turning these kids into ball players. His biggest thing when he was coaching my son in the All-Star was the curveball. He'd always throw him the curveball. I don't know if you remember that. He'd always, if you can hit the curveball, you should be able to hit anything. That's how Arthur used to pitch bat in practice. And it wasn't like a kid. Most of the time when I was watching the All-Star practice, he would throw curves, see if they can hit the curve. So anyway, that was just my quick moment. I got a bunch more, but if you want to call in, 508-222-1320. And again, Norma gave me this bio, and you're going to see this on TV. This show is going to be re-edited for YouTube again, and then for Telview Connect. And it'll be seen in Taunton TCAM TV as well here in Attleboro, and again, so many other towns. So anyway, it says, in the summer of 1970, Arthur Pimenta, at the age of 16, became involved in the neighbor in coaching Little League Baseball. And I'll just run through this timeline. 1970, started coaching Taunton East Little League. Of course, he's still coaching. Started by coaching his neighbor on the Tigers for 6 years. 1971, started coaching Taunton Youth Football, coached until 1978. 1976, took the baseball team of his own to manage with the Taunton East Little League Mets, which of course he's finishing up this year. 1976, took both football and baseball teams to the league championship victory. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool stat. So not only did he win the city championship in Taunton, he also won the city championship in Taunton East Little League.
Wow.
So he won the city series, referred as the golden years in local newspapers for a 23-year-old. He was only 23. 1993, 1994, coached Little League All-Star team, led the Taunton East Little League to the first-time district championship. 2016, coached boys camp, girls and boys club floor hockey, which I love doing. That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
That is a lot of fun. That can get intense too. Foremost part in the construction of the Taunton East Little League complex on Middleborough Ave, and helped with the 4 fields and the house. Sponsorship of the Mets, which he currently been stepping down to. Currently was coaching for the last 54 years. Holds the league title as vice president for the National League at Taunton East Little League, and he still does today. And I hate double-sided copies. 2000 Golden Rule Award by J.C. Penney, nomination of the letter of congratulations from Bill Clinton.
Wow.
2009 Man of the Year, Taunton Boys and Girls Club. 2009, April 15th. I gotta make sure I don't ovulate here and don't get too loud. 2009, April 15th was claimed by the city of Taunton to be Arthur Pimenta Jr. Day, which was pretty cool, in honor of him for 40 years of dedication to the service of the youth of the city. Seafield, so there's 4 fields at Taunton East Little League. They're all back to back. It's like a clover leaf if you ever look down on it. It's pretty cool. Seafield was named in Arthur's name. 2014 Massachusetts Little League Volunteer of the Year for District 6. 2016 Little League World Series first pitch, and there's a video of that. It's pretty good. If you watch the kid that Arthur's throwing the ball to, he went to Williamsport throughout the first pitch, right? This kid's 12 years old, and he's like a foot above Arthur.
Oh, yeah, big kid.
Big kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
As he gave him the ball, which is really cool. So he threw out the first pitch in Williamsport. That was a great experience. Then, of course, I remember they had the news crew. I think it was Channel 6 that followed you that time.
Yeah, that reporter was pretty good.
Yeah.
He ended up moving. I think they were going to get together with some other old timers back then, and we were going to do a TV show and just talking about
Yep.
baseball games, all that different stuff.
2019, 50 years coach, and received a citation from the Massachusetts State Senate, House of Representative, and the city of Taunton with the key to the city, which Arthur still doesn't know to this day what it opens. He received 2021 Massachusetts Baseball Coaches Association Fred Abbott Award of Dissension, and I think that's all I have. Yep, that's all I have. So you'll see this on when we edit the show. This is really, really cool. I wanted to read that.
And
Did I miss anything? I hope I didn't. What was that?
I was going to say these awards that kept coming at me and stuff like that. Gee, my goodness gracious, people would find out about it, and I'm so humbled by all the accolades, so to speak, that
Yep.
you get, and I've never expected anything. I've got so much stuff that is in boxes and all over the place and stuff like that, but the last few years has been pretty good as far as, being, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Just being thanked,
Right. But
and-
you earned that, Arthur. You earned that. Again, you're a humble guy. You know baseball, and there are so many people that lives you've touched. I don't think you've actually, or maybe it hasn't set in yet with everyone. They're not just thanking you to thank you. They're thanking you because you rolled them, in my opinion, into great people.
Oh my goodness, there's so many. I can be places all over the country and stuff like that, and all of a sudden somebody will send 2 drinks to our table, and I'll say, who said that? And it'd be somebody that played 40 years ago
That's
or
awesome.
something like that. And they come back and reminisce, and everybody's got a story to say. Something I did somewhere or something
That's
like
good.
that, I was kind of famous for picking a kid and giving him some sort of a nickname. It could be anything. It could be JJ Squeaky. Now we got a new one now. We call him Ankles.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But and when I'm mad at them for not doing, practicing the right way or something like that, I use the nickname. And then as time goes on and they start to understand and start to improve and stuff like that, I'll say to them, okay, I use the nickname because I don't want to yell at you. I'm yelling at that other person, that nickname. But now I'm going to call you by your real name, okay?
Right.
And every one of them has said, no, just keep calling me the nickname. I love it,
There you go.
We
We are going to take our first break. If you want to call back, when we do come back, 508-222-1320. We have the distinct privilege of highlighting Arthur Pimenta from Taunton Eastern Little League as we celebrate and reminisce 54 years of Little League baseball, again, over at Taunton Eastern Little League. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. You can watch Arthur live in studio. Just go to our website page. Of course, if you're out of the range, you can't pick us up on the radio. Again, go to the website, and you can hear the podcast, the audio podcast. The Sportsmaster Justin Ferreira, Catherine Conley, a.k.a. KC. She just took a quick break. Again, if you want to call in, 508-222-1320. We are highlighting a great guy, all-around great guy. He has donated himself endlessly to the city for the last 54 years, not include, well, we kind of touched on the football. And my first question to you is, Catherine works her way back in here. What was your final opinion? Why did you step away? Because you can coach both. You can coach both. Why did you finally step away from the football aspect of coaching?
Well, if anybody coaches football and baseball all at the same time, one sport rolls into the other.
Yeah.
And back in those days, I had started a young family, and I had 2 daughters and stuff like that. And my wife reminded me more often than I really needed that I just wasn't home. I was just too busy. I'd work all day and then run to some practice somewhere or some meeting someplace and stuff like that. And I realized that she was right.
Right.
And at the time, baseball was a lot easier to do as far as time-wise and stuff. So it broke my heart, but back then I stepped down from the football. I mean, I never looked back and I never worried about it. I'm glad I did.
Right.
Because at least it gave me, and it was kind of funny because my daughters got a little older, and as soon as football would start, they'd be into cheerleading and stuff like that. I probably could have kept on going because I would have been coaching the team they were cheering for. But
You just rolled over to Pop Warner.
yeah, just rolled right over. But no, at the time, it was time. It was time to, one had to go. It was too much.
It's a lot on a family. You know?
Yes.
And no one knows that better than you as far as your kids were young. You're doing 2 sports. But it is a good out, though. It's not like you're at the bar. Of course, I'm kidding. At the bar room drinking. You're donating your time to a bunch of great kids and trying to mold them into decent people.
Well, yeah, and through the years with all the sports and stuff like that, I suppose I could have done a lot more different things with working and stuff like that as far as, making more money and different things like that. But I always enjoyed the games, and I always like to, you start out, like, say, we'll stay with baseball.
Yeah.
You start out in March, the middle of March, and I'm an outside guy. I don't like going inside at the game. To me, you got to play outside. And I go outside, and the kids they got stocking hats on. Sometimes it's freezing. I remember practicing in tennis courts because all the grass still had snow on it and stuff like that, or the grounds were frozen. And you get out there, and the kids, they're kind of, I tell them, dress warm. You can always take the coats and the layers off.
Yeah.
And you get a practice in maybe from 5 to about 10 minutes of 6 and be dark.
Right.
And you take that group of kids and then see them come together as a team and play and practice. And one boy hits his first home run or something like that as the season goes. And there's a certain point where you've coached them enough, now they're kind of on their own. And that's the part I like. I like to just watch them play. And they make mistakes, they need guidance and stuff like that. But you don't have, now they understand. And even though I'm kind of a hard guy, I guess, I want things a certain way. And once they figure that all out and they realize I'm on their side, I'm really their biggest fan. Everything works out pretty good. I've been very fortunate. I don't have too many troubles with people. We always seem to fix it. There's always a happy medium somewhere.
Awesome.
And when I was a little younger, the older managers that were there and stuff like that, oh my goodness, when I first took over, I would be in trouble with so many different people because of, they're just kind of like, I was kind of like, what's the word, I guess, robust, let's go, type of thing. And I'd have parents sitting waiting for me to leave so they could get at me. So an older gentleman, Walter Bedak, a heck of a guy. Most Taunton guys that are old enough will remember him. He would say, what's the matter? And I'd say, oh, man, as soon as I go to leave, I'm going to have to go through all these parents. He said, well, do what I do, park on the other side. And he says, let all the kids go home, pick up the gear, and then just go out through the back. They never even know you left.
Yeah.
And I started doing that, and it worked. It worked out. And then I just started to calm down a little as I got a little older, and we just coached and played baseball. It was
Awesome.
good.
All right, kid, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you coached football. That's correct?
Yeah.
And what can you attest to your time coaching both football and Little League baseball?
Oh my, test of my time. Well, the Little League was pretty good because when we first started baseball, the first year I had the Mets, 76 I think it was, we won the championship.
Yep.
And coaching the football at the same time, that football team we had built the last few years, and they were pretty good in 76 and we won that year. I don't know how to put any kind of, it's just that once you start with the group of kids and you get to start to know them and you just start to see them grow, it's very hard not to continue. So I would just, I couldn't wait to go there, wait to get to practice. And I had guys, friends that were coaching with me and stuff like that, that it was kind of social type thing and stuff. And you always tried, like with the football, you always tried to make it like real. In other words, we would have a game at Hopo Park, which is our area, so to speak, the north end of Taunton. And I would get them a bus. We would get a bus, and we would drive the bus. We would pick the kids up. It couldn't have been a half a mile, but we would show up to the games in the bus.
Almost like a high school format.
Oh
right?
yeah, you know, and I would tell the kids, quiet, shh.
Yeah.
And we'd ride the bus to be quiet. You could hear a pin drop on the bus, and nobody would move. We'd pull in, the bus would pull in, you'd shut it off, and I'd say, okay, let's go. And you'd hear the chin snapping.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I mean, anybody that played the game understands.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know? I just love the games.
Awesome. All right, keep on going, guys.
Did you play any sports when you were younger?
Yes, when I was a young fella, I went to Old Coyle High School when it was all boys back then. And I remember there was no junior football, Pop Warner, there was none of that. So as a freshman, they said, sign us for football after school. And I says, hey, I want to do that. Now, I always worked for my father, and it was always difficult because I always had things to do. But I signed up for football, and I played. And then I was too short for basketball. So, but when baseball came around, when I really wanted to play, I did the Little League and the Babe Ruth and all that stuff. But I really wanted to play high school baseball, so I signed up. I missed the bus. So when I got home, my father back then, he says, where you been? I says, well, I signed up for baseball. He says, oh, no, one sport. You play one sport, you pick it. Other than that, I need you to work. And back in those days, that was it, you know? So I picked football, and I played all 4 years. And I enjoyed it. And, the simple disciplines of playing, and then the disciplines that you can teach the kids. The biggest thing about junior football or Pop Warner, however you want to call it, is to get all the kids, even the great players, the ones that are really good, you want them to go on and play. But you want the kids that aren't that good or weren't that good to realize their better days are coming.
Yeah.
They have to keep playing. Don't give up on it. Just keep playing. And that was it. I mean, I was never no big star, but I played. I played when, if I remember being blocking downfield and the head coach saying to me, hey, Pimenta, you missed that block. I says, well, I don't want to, we're in practice. I don't want to kill the guy. And he grabbed my face mask and he says, you get him. And he's shaking me. And I remember him using the word like something like, honest to God, I saw you miss him. And it thundered.
Yeah.
Okay? Hit a big thunder in the sky, because it was real cloudy and stuff. And he looked at me and I says, I believe I'm connected. So And he says, no more practice. Get off the field, you know.
I was wondering where you were going with that story. But
I've always been able to, put some words into stuff like that, even back then. And I can remember him looking at me and smiling at me. And I just said to him, I says, I think I'm connected, so you got to
man upstairs.
So anyways, no, that was it for my playing days. I wanted to play afterwards, but I never went to college. And I was going to go down back then, Middleborough, the Cobras back then.
Yeah.
And then I said, I can't get busted up and stuff like that.
You gotta work
so
the next day.
I got to work, So my days were over, but to get to coach, it continued on.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask, when you say like junior football, like you mean like JV and like freshman
No.
players?
Pop wanted youth football. When it was the Greater Taunton Junior Football League, the ages went 10 to 13, and they had to make weight.
Yep.
They had to be over 75 pounds, and they had to be under 120. That's the way it was back then. And I can remember taking kids and giving them bananas and water and stuff to put on weight so could make the weight.
Yeah.
And I remember putting my toe on the scale when they were weighing them up to try to take some weight off of the bigger kids. And no, that was always that. And you talked about the hockey at the boys' club.
Yep.
That to me, that was the most exciting darn thing going. Every
God.
Saturday it was like, oh, let's go. And I remember my coach, with no practicing or anything, but I would just sit there and say, shoot it. That's all I would say. Shoot the puck.
I missed it. I did it for about 7 years with Steven. And after it was the midget level. I remember the midget level was the most fun, between 9 and 11 years old.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. So competitive.
Oh, goodness. Hey, I just go on, when I started coaching baseball, the kids would ride their bicycles to practice.
Yeah.
They would ride their bicycles to the games. And maybe 2 or 3 of them would get rides here and there and stuff like that. And now today, everything is cars, mom, dads, they're there for the whole practice, the whole 9 yards. But it's gone. It's changed.
It really
has changed.
All right, we're going to step away for our second break. Again, if you want to call in when we get back at 508-222-1320. We have Arthur Pimenta, as we highlight 50. I don't think we're going to do 54 years in a year, in an hour, but we'll be back with him and more right after this.
What's your next question?
Hey, welcome back. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station. 1320 AM WARA and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. You can call in again, 508-222-1320. We have Arthur Pimenta from Taunton Eastern Little League, as we try to do it in an hour. Talking about 54 years, I'm thinking, well, this has to be like a 3-hour show. Taunton Eastern Little League baseball. But you guys want to dive in? And I don't know if...
So before I dive into my next question, just make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
All one word, 4 Deep Sports Talk.
Yep, and that's going to be on Monday night. You will see this broadcast, this show on YouTube.
And and to those of you who subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's your favorite moment of your career?
Favorite moment. Okay, she had asked me this out before we got here, so I've had a few minutes to think about this. There's a lot of favorite moments, but maybe the most, to sum up a lot of baseball, in 2015, I think I went to Williamsport with my grandson, a couple of his friends, 15 or 16, somewhere in there. And my wife, Norma, had made arrangements with Channel 10 and Little League stuff, and there was a lady in there with this gentleman, Carl Stotts, the founder of Little League.
Yep.
And I saw this lady with him all the time, and it was his daughter that had tapped me on the shoulder, and she says, "I have something for you," and she had a pin, and you know, Little League, there's a lot of trading of the pins.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yep.
And she had a pin, and it was a pin of her father sitting on a park bench.
Oh wow.
With his arm like this, his legs crossed, his arms like this, and there's nobody there. And she had said to me, "This is my dad waiting to talk to you." Right?
Oh, that is so. You know what? She sent me that picture.
Yes.
She almost sent me that picture.
And I that probably sums up probably as far as an emotional moment that was pretty touching to me, and because I thought for her to take the time to say that,
Right.
and you have to understand, it's not just me. The founders, the guys that started Taunton East Little League and Taunton West Little League and Dighton Little League and all the people, because it had to get started somewhere by someone.
Yep.
Those are the guys that maybe never get all the accolades, but gee, there's so many good people, good men, good women. Connie Abrego was president at Taunton East, and God, she was a hard worker. Right now, we're blessed with a guy like AJ. He's a friend of mine, AJ Marshall. But
Good guy.
geez, what a worker! I mean, they don't get the hoopla they should. You know, without them.
Right. But he's not like that. AJ could care less about getting any kudos.
Oh, I know.
He's like you. He likes to keep in the back, and he does like you for the kids. And that's how he always struck me since I met him.
Yeah, in fact, did you talk about the plaque? Did we talk about the plaque? They named the field for me. And they
Yeah,
put
we
a
talked
plaque
about.
up.
Yeah, we mentioned that, but I want to touch about that again if you want to.
Well, they named the field after me years ago, and it had a nice plaque and stuff like that. And they put the plaque up, and I took the plaque down, and AJ had said to me, "Where's the plaque? It's gone." I said, "No, I got it, but when I'm gone, when I'm done, you can put the plaque back up." You know, I just don't like all that kind of stuff. But no, I'm proud of Taunton East Little League. I'm proud of that league. I mean, I spent a lot of time there. Building those fields was tough. That was hard. It was 3 years. We couldn't practice because we had nowhere to practice. And we had Taunton High here and there, but building the fields took everybody's time. You know, that took a good solid 3 years just to get it flat ground and grass growing.
Yep.
And then I think one day I was going home and I think my suitcases were packed. And I said, "Oh, I think Dharma was kicking me out back then." Because she says, "This is it. This is it." And I said, "Okay, let me just get the grass growing. And as soon as the grass is growing, I'll step down as the chairman, you know." And I wasn't the chairman for the whole thing, but for a stretch, holy mackerel, that took a lot of time. But now I drive there, and I'm very proud of it.
You're good. I'd like to see some more lights up on some of the other fields.
Oh, yeah, we'd like to see more lights on all the field, more scoreboards, too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think it was missing. I mean, I'd like the new water park, the new building they have for the underground water, for the water of the fields. I think that's pretty cool. But I was always said when I was back when my kid was playing, like, why don't we just put more lights up on these fields? It's such a nice little complex, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's out in the country, which
Yeah.
a lot of them are out in the country, but there's a lot of games there, a lot of baseball.
There's probably playing right now in fall ball.
Probably doubleheader.
Yeah, doubleheader. Exactly. What do you got, big guy?
Do you still have your Children? How do you pronounce it?
Citation?
Citation.
Which one? Well, there's a couple of them.
Well, when I read there was only one. I didn't know there was many.
That's because you were reading an old article. That's
Yeah.
right, because you had other Gazette. So he read one of the articles. You got a citation.
I got some citations from the city and the state and different things like that. I got a nice award from, I can't even think of the name of it. It was up in, I need help on that one.
That's okay. I got the one from Bill Clinton. That's crazy.
Oh, God almighty, I can all go back to the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
With, oh, God almighty, I'm losing, I can't think of his name. The head coach sent me a letter of congratulations when the North End Bulldogs won the city championship.
Nice.
Yeah, somebody sent it to him. Why can't I think? Carmen Cosa. Would that be the name?
Oh, the name of the
head
coach.
coach back then. We're talking 50 years.
Norma's
ago.
going to text me any minute the name of the coach.
But I mean,
They want to bust through the door over here. Don't they know they got something going on right now? They got some nerve.
Oh God, I got stuff. Hey, I can even give you another touching thing. This young lady asked me. A 9-year-old's in the dugout with me, and we're playing because he's not starting, and he's got this look on his face. He's like so sad looking. So I sit down on the bench, and I says, "Sit down." I says, "What's the matter?" And he looks at me, and the tears just fill up at his eyes. And I says, "Oh, what's the matter? Come on."
Russ Steves. Did I say that right? Russ Steves.
That was the award from the baseball.
Okay.
Right, from up in, I was up there with all those Catholic Memorial guys and
Yep.
all the Bishop Fenwicks and all that stuff. And I said, how did I get this, you know? And
then the Massachusetts Baseball Coaches Association. I read that on the bio, but
and you know, you go back. I got to go back to that story. Don't let me forget.
Please.
Did you know the Man of the Year thing by oh my goodness, it was
Man of the Year. I know I got it right here because Norma gave it to me. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Coach of the Year, All-Star. I know I got it right here. Man of the Year, 2009, Boys and Girls Club.
No,
No, that's one.
There's another one. There's one I got an award for being a volunteer, and I'm sitting there, and I'm seeing these people that take care of people that need food and need furniture and need all these things. And I said, I don't belong here. I just coach baseball. Oh my goodness, all the people that were sitting there said, no, your time is very important as a contribution to the community. Now, I forget what story I was talking about. The boy crying, the boy upset.
So you said the boy was like depressed.
Oh, he was so upset. So his eyes, he starts tearing up and he starts crying. And I said, what's the matter? What happened? And he says, oh, my dog died today. And he was so upset. And I remember he put his head on my shoulder, okay?
Oh.
And he cried, and I says, well, now look, now how do you take a little 9-year-old that just lost his pet dog?
his
and
best
he was,
friend,
oh,
yeah.
So I said to him, well, did you take good care of your dog? And he says, oh, yeah. I said, did you play with him once in a while? Make sure you eat good, plenty of water and all that good stuff? And he said, oh, yeah. And I said, well, then you've done your best, you know, and your dog had a good life. They're not going to live like us for 50, 60 years, 100 years.
Yeah, it's
And
always tough losing a companion. A pet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you, all these kids, every one of them, whether you got 12, 11, 13, 15 on the team, they all have their own little lives. They all have their ups and downs and some stuff like that. And sometimes I think when you get out on the ball field and you're at practice or whatever you're doing, all that stuff goes away. And for a couple hours, you only got to worry about playing baseball.
Now I feel bad because normally I want to make sure I got all these citations out. So let me see. I want to make sure I go through them real fast before we go on the
J.C.
last break.
Penney.
J.C. Penney. I thought I said, Bill Clinton. I thought I said,
No.
2000 Golden Rule Award by J.C. Penney, nomination of the letter of congratulations from President Bill Clinton.
Yes, okay.
Yep.
Because that was when I was saying I'm here as a volunteer. I coach Little League.
Awesome.
These people give up their whole lives
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But no, it's been good. Look, I can I could probably tell 1,000 stories.
All right, we're getting ready to take our final break. When we come back, Justin's going to tell you the results of Thursday from football, and I'm going to run through the results from Friday night football. If you want to call in when we get back, 508-222-1320. Arthur Pimenta.
Welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM Attleboro. I'm about to go over the results of Week 5 high school football this past Thursday. Plymouth South 34, North Quincy 7. Mansfield 31, Sharon 14. Win 2 for the Hornets. Bourne 21, Monomoy 8. Canton 33, Oliver Ames 20. Natick 35, Newtown North 21. Franklin 28, Taunton 27. Win 4 for the Panthers, third straight loss for the Tigers. Norwell 25 and Alston 24 came from behind, win for the Mustangers, win number 4.
There you go. Friday night. I was Thursday night. Friday night scores. Middleborough beats East Bridgewater, 21-6. Milton beats Needham, 10-9. Wildcats improved to 5-0. They clinch a playoff spot. Carver beats Cohasset, 42-39 in overtime. The Crusaders are covered. They clinch a playoff spot. Catholic Memorial over Severian, 41-38. Andover blanks Brockton, 50-20. Abington beats Sandwich, 21-2. Foxborough beats Stoughton, 31-7. The Warriors move on to Foxborough. They make a playoff spot. It was Weymouth over Braintree, 28-14. First loss for Braintree. West Bridgewater beats Tri-County, 40-7. Continuing on, Hingham upsets Whitman-Hanson, 25-14. Hanover beats Situate, 42-28. The Hawks clinch a playoff spot in Hanover. South Shore Volk beats Cape Cod Tech, 42-6. Rockland beats Norwell 23-0. The Bulldogs stay undefeated. They clinch a playoff spot in Rockland. Old Colony over Holbrook 38-8. BC High beats Malden Catholic 24-14. Blue Hills over Southeastern 20-14. Bridgewater Raynham beats Durfee 14-0. The Trojans have their first win of the season. Duxbury beats Plymouth North 21-13. Randolph beats Hull 20-9. Finishing up Friday night high school results, Cardinal Spellman, they clinch this playoff spot, 5-0, beating Bishop Fenwick 28-14. Archbishop Williams beats Cathedral 21-18. Fairhaven, they clinch a playoff spot with a 49-6 win over Case. Lawrence beats New Bedford 2019. Martha's Vineyard gets blown out by Mashpee 32-8. Milford over North Attleboro 33-13. Nantucket loses to Dennis Yarmouth 48-7. St. Mary's, they get by Bishop Stang 16-14. Bellingham beats Dedham 21-20. Norton beats Blanks Millis 35-0. And finishing up, Westwood loses to Ashland 35-15. And Brookline beats Boston Latin 28-2. Wow. And those are your scores from Thursday and Friday night. And Should have brought in some water, Arthur. Now I feel parched. All right, we are here. If you want to call in with Arthur Pimenta, 508-222-1320. So my question as we come out of that, doing the scores there is, what's the biggest flaw? What's the biggest thing you have to coach for these young kids that come up from the minors that you see a problem with? That you right? It comes the first thing that comes to mind when you look at a kid like, oh, is it hitting, running? I mean, the game, like you always say, the game will come to you with repetition.
Yeah.
But what's one of the biggest things you see?
When you're trying to choose a player, or just in
when
general?
you have that play, when you just drafted that kid, you liked him in the tryouts,
Yeah.
you take him for the Mets, and now you have to try to develop him how you want him to be. What's one of the biggest things you see?
Well, I just look to see if the boy has, girl, because I've had some girls play too.
Yeah.
I just learn to see if they're athletic. I mean, if they're athletic and they can run and throw and all the rest of it will come with time, with practice and stuff like that. And of course, years ago, you'd have a tryout, and if you needed four people to replace, you could draft 7 or 8, 10 kids and have a week of workout so you get an idea what they can do.
Yeah.
But nowadays, because the numbers are a bit down,
Yeah.
you draft them and they're on your team. So it's like you pick them just from watching them try out and stuff. It's all different, Dominic. I don't know if you can answer it in one in one way. It's sometimes. And God Almighty, I have so many kids that I've coached now that are dads, and their kids are trying out, and they all want them to play for me, and I can't. I mean, this year here, we just took one boy. That's all I needed. And I just look to see if they look kind of like they've been out in the yard playing a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with dad or mom, or have they come through the minor league system, and if they've been around playing. And then you can just show them how to do it, and if you can get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 together that all kind of think the same way, you're going to have a good team. You're going to have a shot. I have a lot of second places, believe me.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I had a team that should have won, we seem to have lost in the end,
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't bother me. You give it your best shot. It just wasn't your day.
Right.
So
with the younger kids, I guess I should have made that question, but I'm sorry. Is it more, I mean, again, you're trying to see if these kids can play, see if parents actually spend time with them. You know what, in fact, let me go a different way. Do you see nowadays that sometimes these parents should spend more, well, everybody's working, right? All these parents work, and so sometimes I've done it in the White Sox. You get this kid and it's like, you can tell this kid is not playing catch that much, unfortunately. But do you see that more now than you did before? Like before you were talking about the kids used to pedal their bikes to the ball field back in the day. And now you don't see it as much. Do you see that sometimes a little bit with the younger kids might needing that extra help, like in the batting and the throwing and stuff?
You have a small percentage of the kids that just, mom and dad just never played sports or something. Now the kid's showing up. He's going to go the whole route of learning. And there's a lot of mums and dads now that have the kids playing multiple baseball teams. You know what I mean? They've got. I used to carry bags with helmets, bats, catcher's gear. Now the kids all have their own gear. It's come kind of full circle where the kids that can play, they get plenty of playing time. In my opinion, everybody on my team this year all played either AAU plus Little League and never missed a practice and different things like that. So I think sometimes they say, what's the difference from a kid from 50 years ago to today?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a difference in the kids and the love of the game or the love of the sport. But I know that back when I first started coaching, the league would get together and take busloads of kids to Fenway Park to see the Red Sox. Okay? And That stuff has died off. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And then there was a stretch of time we would go to McCoy Stadium and Pawtucket and watch.
A lot cheaper tickets there, though.
Yeah. And I know I can remember. I think the last bus load of kids that we took to Fenway, in fact, 2 buses. We met at Roseland Ballroom.
Yep.
Back then, it's a Chinese restaurant now. But we met in the parking lot. All the kids get on the bus. So as an adult, a young man, I was responsible for 7 kids. So I would just say to them, you got to be in your seats by the 7th inning, okay? And like the 6th inning, 6 of them are there, one's missing. And I remember, this kid here, we looked the whole ballpark. I finally found him, and I said, I was so nervous about that. I said, I'm not doing this again. I had enough of this. I worried about that kid, holy cow. I want to kick him in the butt, but
You had to hold the restraint.
yeah, gee, he had me so nervous. No, the kids are kids.
Yeah.
Maybe they have more responsibilities today. Maybe they have less responsibilities today.
So it really hasn't changed.
In my mind, no. It's.
Well, you've seen them all, Arthur, for 54 years, and I thought, that'd be, if anyone saw any type of change, it would be you. So basically, it depends on the interaction with the parent and, how the kid's ready to play. So that hasn't changed.
No, because now, like, the parents bring all the kids to practice, and they sit out in the cars and lawn chairs sometimes when the weather's good, and they become friends, right? Because they're all part of a team, and the kids come to practice. Practice is over, they go home. Back in the day, they would walk. I remember the kids riding with their baseball bat, wooden bat, across the handlebars with the glove hanging off.
Yeah,
okay?
Yep, that's
And
awesome.
No cleats, sneakers.
Right.
I mean, that part has changed. Those kids back then, they really loved to play because if they had all the stuff today, like the extra batting and the extra this and extra that, gee, I wonder how good they would have been,
All right, we get about 2.5 minutes. I got one more colorful story to tell you about Arthur that I remember, and this is when you were coaching.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Who is your favorite MLB player, and why is that?
Well, they asked me that out in the parking lot, and there's been so many. I like that big Poppy guy.
Oh, David Ortiz.
Yeah,
Ortiz,
I like
yeah.
What a
him,
great
too.
contact hitter, huh?
I just thought he was a character. He just, he could back up. He could back himself up. He backed himself up with his bat. I mean, when you can walk the walk and talk the talk and then make it happen. Hey,
As the kids say, that's being legit, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
He's probably the nicest Red Sox player ever.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to try to do this in about 1 minute and 30 seconds. So a long time ago, Coach Pimenta had Coach Dunderdale, right?
Oh yeah, Jack Dunderdale.
Jack Dunderdale, right? And one time the practice got so bad, Arthur and them threw the helmets in the bag in the river over at BP.
Oh yeah.
That year, they won the whole thing.
Wow.
There was one bad practice. Oh, I'm sick of this. And I'm like, I don't know if I could ever throw my bag. I don't think my kids would ever go get the equipment if I did that.
And I threw it in the brook.
Yeah.
And me and Jack left.
Yeah. I remember you telling me the
So
story.
the kids got all the equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah, another
And,
great guy, too.
Yeah. Oh, Jack Dunderdale. Oh my God, what a good man, good friend. But that year, the kids got the gear with the parents and stuff, and we had a game, and all of a sudden that team, it was like a light switch went off.
Right.
We went from having an awful time to all of a sudden they could play.
Arthur,
That's a good
thank
story,
you.
Coach.
Thank you very much. Coach, great to see you.
I want to thank you, okay, and these young people because they were here last time I was here.
They were.
Oh,
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
Thanks for coming again.
Thank you
And
for
well,
coming
thank you
again.
very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We hope you enjoyed this hour of 4 Deep Sports Talk. We had the distinct pleasure. Try and run down in 1 hour 54 years of Little League with Arthur Pimenta. We will catch you next time. Everyone have a fantastic weekend.